So this is the little game that I wrote in order to have something for the prototype to test, to work with. It's a very simple concept. So you play as the orange dot. You can control it by going left and right. And you're trying to hit the blue dot, which is a crew member trying to escape through an airlock here. So you see the airlock here on the bottom. And I'm trying to reach the crew member who's desperately trying to get away from me. And he did it. So he escaped through the airlock. So good for him, bad for us. And I think in this case we won't have much of a chance. He's on top of here. It's very hard to reach him because we don't have enough speed. So speed is also a very critical input factor. And this is where the exercise bike will come into play quite... Oh, no, got him. That was great. So the speed is very important. So the faster he goes, the easier it will be to reach a crew member and to capture him. So this is where I felt we can connect the bike speed with the speed of something that happens in a game. So again, this is a very simple game, a prototype, nothing fancy about this, nothing super innovative. It's just something that is surprisingly engaging, surprisingly fun. So the special thing about this game is it's entirely controlled by this exercise bike. This is a standard exercise bike, and unfortunately I have to do more exercise, so I felt, well, I really hate exercise. I find it really boring and bland. On the other side, I love games, so how can we combine those two? So what I created here is a combination of this bike and a connection to a game. So I created a game, you saw this before, and the game is totally controlled by this exercise bike. So I got buttons here for left and right to move the aliens left and right. And on the bottom here I have a sensor that determines the speed of the bike and translates this into movement for the alien. So what you do is basically you just get on your bike and you just start pedaling. And the faster I go down here, the faster my alien goes on the screen. So I can see the alien, I can see the movements, and if I want to change the movement of the alien, I press one of these buttons, so left and right. So let me show you the details of the bike and the mechanism. So we got the two buttons here, so left and right. These are simple push buttons, nothing specific about them. So we looked at just standard hardware. So if you push, the circuit closes. You see the wires coming out. It's not very professional, but it does work for now. The wires come out, and you see other wires go into the bottom of the bike. And here is a more complicated device. It's a so-called Hall sensor. And the Hall sensor does the following. If a magnet passes the sensor, it shows this as an output on the digital output as a 1. So every time you can see here the LED, every time this magnet here comes close to the sensor, it creates an input, or I should say an output. So this LED is lighting up, and there's an exit here, and the exit goes through the cables. So where does this all end up? Let's follow the cables. Come here together, follow them, and so they're connected here to a Raspberry Pi. So this is where the game runs. This is where hardware and the software comes together. So the inputs here, the GPIO inputs, are being processed, registered, and then processed by the game as input for the game engine. So the game itself was written in Python using an open source library called PyGames. And I'm also using another library called GPIO, which enables you to connect the real world, the push buttons and the Hall sensor, with the software. And it's really easy, and there's so many tutorials, so I'm not going to go into any depth here, but it's way more easy than you might think it is. So basically what you have is you got the pins on the Raspberry, and if the pin has high voltage, then it is a 1. If it's no voltage or grounded, then it's a 0. And this Hall sensor and the buttons will, if they're clever, if they've been wired up correctly, then you get these 2 inputs, and then you can work with them in the game and make them into action. So look at this line here. So if the input button left is high, okay, so we got a voltage on this, then turn the player -1, so you have you know what's happening, it's -1 is left, and then you create procedures and functions that deal with this input and make the player walk left on the game. This is basically really it. So it's, as I said, it looks like magic, but it's actually quite simple to do. Okay, finally, what does it all cost? Basically, you need a Raspberry Pi, about 36–40 pounds. You need cabling and you need Hall sensors, but I would say it's maximum 20–15 pounds to buy all these things. For example, the Hall sensors, about 3 of them, and they cost me about £5.70. So that's not that expensive. Then you need, of course, the ability to write a game like this. But you can also use, if you search for open source games in Pygame, you find hundreds of them. So you can just use them and modify them and connect them to your hardware. That should be easy as well. So overall, it's a simple project. It was very fun to do over the Christmas period now. And if you like this video, please leave a like. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And if you have a comment, if you want me to expand more on some of the things, please let me know. And I might follow up with another video where I go into more details of the areas that you're interested in. Thanks for watching.